Greetings and welcome to Mz.Rootz online education sessions. As a critical thinker, I question everything, especially and specifically around schooling, education and its structure. And I want to share with you the kind of things I query. Like, why do we put subjects into blocks? For instance, English, maths, science. We've separated knowledge. To me, that's crazy. English is required across all subjects, even maths. You cannot open up a maths textbook without knowing how to read English. English is embedded in every single subject, yet still we have separated it into a block of its own. Did you know that if you have learnt or been taught how to play an instrument and how to read music, you tend to be better at maths and logical subjects such as science, because music develops that logical side of your being, of your brain. My point is, everything's connected. All subjects are connected. Everything on planet Earth is connected. But yet still, we're separating knowledge into blocks of subjects. I have lost count of how many students over the course of my 15 years in education that have said to me, I hate maths. And I think, wow, because I know you love music. And it's so unfortunate that we separated the two. I feel that we need to stop blocking subjects and we need to tap into these aspects of knowledge that we know and utilise them for the betterment of humanity. Let me give you another example of the type of things I think about, where I critically analyse the situation. Let's look at the academic calendar. We go to school in the winter and then we take 6 weeks off in the summer. Now, to me, that doesn't make sense. Wouldn't it be better for us to have 6 weeks off in the winter? Then we can jet off and escape the winter season and seek sun in another part of the world. Doesn't the school feel better in the summer? I know I love the summer terms, and so do my students. Students love to come to school in the summer. It affects the way you deliver a class. For instance, you can take your students outside and you can help them connect with the subjects in a more holistic manner. For instance, science lessons outside, more sports takes place. We know that the sun impacts mood and can heighten brain function. So why have we got an academic calendar that works and revolves around the winter months when it's cold, the skies are dark, we know the earth has tilted its axis, and it's just not a positive time of the year to really maximise learning, brain development. When you check it out, the academic calendar revolves around the Christian calendar. We have Easter, Lent, and all these significant periods that benefit Christians. So that goes to show that education and its structure hasn't been revised for a very, very long time. Here's a last example of me critically analysing a situation around education. I've always wondered why we put our students in groups or cohorts relating to their age as opposed to ability. For instance, in the UK, and it will be similar across the globe, but I'll utilise the UK as an example. We have in secondary school year 9, year 10, year 11. This is key stage 3 and 4. So they are 12, 13, 14, 15 and leave at 16. Okay? But sometimes you have somebody that's in year 9, which is 12 or 13, who is showing abilities of somebody that's in year 11, a 16-year-old. But what we do is we keep them in their age cohorts, and we're not driving them forward with their abilities. So you'll have somebody that is 13 and is enthusiastic and ready to learn and motivated and potentially could take their national exam then at age 13. But what we do in the UK predominantly is we keep them in their age groups, and then they're not able to take their exams until they are 15, 16. When if we were really tapped in, by the time they're 16, this individual could be at a totally different place in terms of their ability and potential. I've experienced this directly myself. I was teaching in a pupil referral unit. So these are hard to reach learners who have been excluded from their mainstream schools. At the time I was teaching science, and I had cohorts of year 9. So these are 12 and 13-year-olds. So I'm delivering science, and it wasn't GCSE, it was an alternative curriculum, but nonetheless it was an accredited program. So these students were working towards qualifications. Now, I realised that my group were heavily engaged with what I was teaching, so I began to build the portfolio ready for them to submit their knowledge to the examination board. So as I'm teaching them and we're gathering up the evidence of their learning, which was a portfolio, ready to submit to the examination board, I was then informed by the leaders of this institution that these students would not be able to be entered for any accredited courses until they were 14 plus. This is a policy by the examination board. So this is like a blanket policy, even though my students were producing the evidence and they were ready. And remember, they were hard to reach. So this would have only motivated them and prepared them then to start building on their knowledge and collecting evidence of their learning. But we hit a brick wall. I was unable to submit the knowledge that they had acquired. This had to go into archive and wait for them to be 14 before we could submit it. How crazy is that? Okay, I should mention that schools do have what they call a stretch and challenge opportunity within their cohorts, or like gifted and talented student services, where they know that there are young people within their institutions that are extremely gifted, but there's very little flexibility in what they do with these students other than challenge them within their age group cohorts. You do have the odd special case where we hear on the news a 10-year-old boy or an 11-year-old girl takes her GCSEs earlier or has the ability of a A-level student. But this is rare. And when you do the research, this predominantly happens amongst the middle classes where education's been paid for. Or if it does happen in working class backgrounds or within the working class community, these students are sponsored or they ascertain a sponsorship. My point is, there's not enough done. I believe there's a lot more individuals that are talented in this way, and our current notion of curriculum is holding them back. Let me know whether you agree with what I'm saying. Comment below, email me, post up on my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. As I said, I'm going to be tapping into you for motivation. I'm going to be drawing upon your energy as a motivational tool to keep doing what I'm doing. Are you following what I'm saying? Are you connecting with the theories? Let me know. Do you agree with the fact that I'm suggesting we need an alternative curriculum, specifically for people of African heritage and people who are in the diaspora? Let me know. Communicate with me. I need your energy.